I know, this video is way overdue. I said that I was going to like keep everybody posted as soon as I removed the bandaging and stuff from my arm piece, but I did not do that. I'll get to that, but yeah, as you can see, it's fully healed now. It's been, I would say, 3 weeks since I got my tattoo done. And like I said before, it took around 7 hours to do the whole thing. Give or take about half an hour, something like that. The experience overall, of course, the usual. It was tedious, but as long as you can find something to do while it's going on, and as long as like you can have a proper conversation with your artist every now and then, it should be fine. For me, I have this thing where sometimes I nearly fall asleep while I'm getting tattooed. It's just super embarrassing sometimes because like my head will do that bobbing thing, but I haven't actually fallen asleep as of yet, but I've only gotten 4 tattoos, so we'll see. So overall, my experience went well with the actual tattooing process. With Aftercare, that's when I hit the snags. This is my largest piece, by the way. And the piece before this one was on my thigh, and I got it done about 1.5 years ago. That's just to say that I had, what is it called, the Saniderm bandaging for the first time on that previous tattoo. And I kept it on for about 3 days before removing it and then going about healing as usual. And I had such a great experience then that I decided to like invest in my own roll of Saniderm and like keep it with me so that I could put it on my new tattoo myself if the artist did not. So that's what I did, and I wrapped it up with Saniderm a few hours after taking off from the shop, and then like taking off the bandaging a couple hours after that, and then I just like washed it, moisturized a little bit, and put the Saniderm bandaging on. I decided to keep it on for the maximum 7 days. I did not make it that far. It's a maximum for a reason. Like usually people take it off within the 3 to 5 day mark, and I really should have listened to my body, but I did not because I wanted to like power through, and like I thought that the longer I would keep the Saniderm bandaging on, the easier healing would go for me and the more preserved the ink would be. Yeah, if you're uncomfortable, please remove the bandage, like especially if it's after 3 days. No harm, no foul. And yeah, so I should have done that. I made it about 6 days before I finally just had to remove the bandage. It was so itchy around the edges of the bandaging, and I removed it and found out why. Turns out I broke out in a rash, an irritation, really, because I don't have an allergic reaction to anything, but my skin was irritated from the adhesive that was placed upon it, and I ended up breaking out in a rash all throughout my tattoo, like not on the actual inked lines, but in between the lines and everything. And then after the rash subsided, like it was, gosh, let's just say I had never been in that situation before, and I ended up having to, what is it called? I had to like Google whether or not it was okay for me to put acne wash on my tattoo, like whether or not that would mess with the healing and the ink and everything like that. People say it's perfectly fine, especially at that point in time, but yeah, I actually had to like put acne wash and clear the bumps on her face and everything, and I was just like so worried that it was maybe gonna like scar the ink. It seems to have come out alright. Has no worse for wear. But I do still have a little bit of scarring and stuff on the sides of my arm where the bandaging was before. So yeah, the Saniderm overall, of course, did its job. The tattoo looks great and all, but if you have a sensitivity to certain adhesives or Like, you don't know how you're going to react to the adhesive over such a long period of time, you could do a test patch before you get your tattoo done. Just like put a little patch of Saniderm on and keep it on for a few days and see if you can, you know, tolerate it. See if you have any sort of reaction, because I really should have done that before doing this, but because I had had it previously and everything went without a fail, I didn't really think to do a test patch for as long as I should have. I did do a test patch, but only for about 24 hours, and then like I got bored and took it off. Don't do that. Let's see. Well, after I took the bandaging off, and besides the acne wash every day to like dry out some of the bumps and then you know, get the rash to go down, I just went through like Aftercare as usual. I put moisturizer on after washing it every day, and then you wash once a day with like your soap and everything of choice. Rinse it, let it dry a little bit, and then re-wet it and put your moisturizer on. Now for me, I make my own, so here I have a little jar of it. I just put like, it's a shea butter mix that I make myself, and I don't really trust a lot of brands and stuff, especially not lotion. It's mostly water, so I don't really go for that. When I tattoo, I don't wear lotion in general, but anyway, I make my own body butters. They have a shea butter base. Sometimes I put coconut oil in it, sometimes not. Macadamia nut oil is a go-to. My friends can tell you, like, if I've done something for their tattoos, macadamia nut oil really helps, and tattooed skin loves macadamia nut oil. So yeah, just a little bit of this and that in a shea butter base, and I don't like put a scent in it or anything like that. I keep it as natural as possible, and I just put that on my tattoo, especially when like it feels dry or flaky or something like that. You just keep it moisturized and it should be fine. And then you go in the shower, like, I would say shower every day, but at least every other day, because that's what's going to get like the flaked skin off in an efficient but in a safe way. You don't ever pick at a tattoo when it's healing, please, because you could be pulling ink out. Please don't do that. You will have just like thrown money down the toilet. So yeah, after washing, after moisturizing for a few days, I was so relieved when the rash started to go away and the ink was fine and nothing seems to need to be touched up. She looks just like she did before, give or take a few spots where the bandaging was, but nothing that harmed the actual tattoo. And the spider, Aquatica, she seems to be doing fine too. I might get Aquatica touched up. I have no idea just yet, but we will see. We will see. Let's see. Overall, I would completely recommend Saniderm again, just like I recommended it this time. This was not my first time. Just make sure that you are, careful with your application of the Saniderm or Tattooderm or Tegaderm bandaging. Make sure that you have it on for as long as you can stand it, but no longer than 7 days. That is not recommended by anyone, and definitely no longer than your comfort level with it on. Like 3 days is fine. Most people take it off after 3 days. 5 days was what I was going for, but then after 5 days I decided to keep going. That was a bad idea. I was like so itchy and I didn't know why, but I couldn't see what was wrong. At the very least, change the bandaging if you feel itchy or something. Like, if you want to keep going with the Saniderm bandaging and it's only been a certain amount of days and it hasn't been the maximum amount of days yet, you can just change the bandaging, wash it, see what's going on under there, and then put another bandage on afterward. That's totally fine. Do that, but don't do what I did, please. Let's see. I think that's it. I think I've covered all bases with that, and yeah, so So if there's anything else that you were wondering about that I didn't cover, then that's perfectly fine. You can message me, you can ask me a question, and yeah, I think that's it.